Correct.
Yeah, I just got the Twitch stream muted so that way I can hear you guys.
All right. Cool. All right. I think we're
Did you use
live.
Cinema 4D for that?
Yeah, I did. Fancy intro.
Okay,
Use Cinema 4D
cool.
and After Effects. All right, guys. So welcome to the VGHD podcast where we talk about video games. I'm 3-bit, and I'm joined by two people today. We got Worse. How you doing today?
I'm doing okay. How about you?
Not bad, not bad. And then we also have Insane Cakes. What do you want me to call you, Insane Cakes, or you really?
You can go cakes if it's easier.
Okay. So
That's what most people go with.
we got some awesome topics today. Um, First off, I want to know a couple of games that you guys have been playing. Last of Us Part Two, something I finished. So that'll be our first topic. So who's played Last of Us? Let's go to Will. And what did you think about it?
I did play the game.
You
and, uh, let's see. I've kind of said this multiple times whenever people have asked me about the game or just like setting up a review for it. And as much as I really like the middle of the game,
Mhm.
I can't really, on good faith, recommend it based off of the jarring beginning and hollow ending. And I also kind of feel like you can only say good graphics and good music and good acting, and good gameplay, but bad story so many times that it kind of starts to lose all meaning. And as much as the presentation side and the gameplay is all great,
Mhm.
the stories is kind of like a bit too much to the point where it's just like you can't really ignore all the bad stuff, or like not just the bad stuff, but just like you can't really ignore all like the questionable stuff in the game, even though it's got like good graphics, acting, and gameplay.
I think
And as much as I
Naughty
love
Dog
those a
is
lot,
Naughty Dog is out there crying somewhere from your comments.
oh
What do
yeah,
you?
they're gonna they're gonna really care about my mean,
Okay.
neutral words that I said.
All right. So that's what you thought about it. What about you, Insane Cakes? Would you? I know you haven't beat it, so where are you on the gameplay and the story? Where are you?
So I played Last of Us One when it first came out, fell in love with it, and actually, that's how I met one of my best friends in the military over it. I played this game, and I'll go back to one, but I'll go into two real shortly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about like half. I'm pretty sure I'm halfway through the game. Honestly, I don't have that much to complain about with the story so far where I'm at, because because of where the story left off with one and how the story was in one.
Hmm.
It's cool to see the aftermath of what's happening from it, and that's what's like really intriguing me about it, which is why I don't have anything really bad to say about it. But I haven't beat the game, so I don't have a full opinion yet.
Awesome. So
Oh
the
Gameplay,
yeah,
two sort of contrasting opinions
yeah,
about it. So,
gameplay is solid, but it's the same complaint I have with the first game. I do have a complaint on actual gameplay, but
okay.
we'll get into that.
Nice. Well, I thought it was I'm actually had a really fun time with it. The story and the gameplay. I can see the criticisms. I hear it all over the internet, but I don't know. I sort of treated it as like a separate thing. Maybe it's because the first game came out like 7 years ago, I believe. Um, yeah, I don't know. I had a fun time with the story. It surprised me in a lot of different ways, and I think a lot of things in the story and in the game are haven't been done before to this extent. Maybe in like a long CW show or something like that. Not to be insulting or
Oh,
anything.
oh no.
That wasn't meant as an insult. I thought it was really um, compelling. There was some things I was like, wow, I did not see that coming. Then there was a lot of stuff
I
I did
will
see coming because
I will admit the one thing about the story that I feel like I've told this to several people before is that, and it's the worst part about Insane Cakes not being in the game is that I don't want to spoil anything.
I
Getting
know.
too much into spoilery territory.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. But I will say that there's like one part of the game that I really liked that was in the middle, where it kind of felt like, and the best way is I could possibly say about this because I just before The Last of Us 2 came out, I did beat The Last of Us 1 recently, and I actually played and beat the DLC for the first time hours before the game would have went live to the
oh, okay.
pre-order. So I was just like had a very fresh memory of it all. But in the middle of the game, like middle-ish last half, like around that kind of area, or
Mhm.
like I'm just gonna say middle-ish, but around that area of the game, I actually started to kind of like not get as nitpicky as I used to, and I could kind of overlook some of the issues I had before.
Mhm.
And through some stuff that kind of happens, I'm like, hey, this kind of feels like a traditional Last of Us game. And I was okay with that for a bit, and then the ending, which I'm not going to say.
Yeah, I enjoyed, and I'm not spoiling anything. I'm trying my best, but I really enjoyed. You know, you play as Abby, correct?
Yeah.
Insane. Okay. um,
Okay.
yeah, I enjoyed her segments more than Ellie's, and I think they really paid attention to her story, making sure you spend time with her. I think you do spend more time with her than Ellie, actually. It feels that way, anyways. Um, and me and Will was talking about it a little bit off stream, and he was basically saying how those segments felt more like the first Last of Us game, and I agree. I definitely
I
agree with that part. She
I
had like
honestly
really
feel
awesome
like if
segments.
oh, sorry to interrupt. I
No,
was going to say
go ahead.
that I honestly feel like the Abby reception wouldn't be as bad as it was if it had no connection to Joel or Ellie, but because there's like that connection with what happens at the very beginning with Joel, people can't really overlook what solid stuff Abby's campaign's got, which is a
Mm-hmm.
shame, but also kind of a part of the problem with the game story is it's that first connection there. But if you just pretend that there's no connection there with Joel and Ellie, it's like you get yourself like this new world, this new cast of characters, and you're like, okay, let me figure out what this weird war torn Seattle is.
it's
And I
it's
think that kind
interesting.
of was
Cause sorry to interrupt, but it is interesting because with this game, a lot of people did come with some preconception of the story because of the leaks. Unfortunately, um, so
yeah.
I successfully avoided all leaks and spoilers. So
You are lucky.
that is awesome.
You are very lucky.
I got
I
spoiled.
have no idea on the story. The only thing that was spoiled was that you play as you play as an opposing evil character, and now I know who that is. Not really evil, but another character that Abby.
I I accidentally got spoiled out of context, but I was like, oh, I'm sure, like in context, yeah, this will be much better. And then I got it in context. But besides that, though, the spoilers did kind of like have somewhat of an effect on people's appreciation of the game to the point where like rumors about some of the characters kind of went a little bit off the rails, even though in the final product that wasn't the case with some of those rumors, which
Right.
I think was a bad turnout for like people hearing about the story, then associating like, oh well, this is just bad because of these people, and then all that. But that kind of furthers the divide on people that haven't played the game and only heard of the leaks. Which
Yeah.
I personally agree with that. If you're gonna complain about a game, just like play the game all the way through and beat it before you like just so you can form your own opinion, which I did. And,
Yeah, I think one of the best spoilers I've ever gotten was Harry Potter. Someone spoiled Harry Potter for me and said that Harry dies at the end, and so that was probably the best spoiler I gotten because the whole movie I'm watching it. And I'm like, oh yeah, she's gonna die at the end, and then it happens. I'm like, oh, see, and then he comes back to life. So I was like, oh wow, I did not see that coming for some reason.
so it technically did die, but he didn't tell you to come back.
Yeah,
He's
so
not. He's not wrong.
he wasn't wrong,
Yeah.
but that was a good spoiler because I was going into it knowing what was going to happen, but then it didn't in a way. But yeah, a lot of stuff with Last of Us 2. So let's talk about the next topic, which is Microsoft. So they kind of went on a Twitter rampage with a lot of their executives, and they were basically explaining what optimized for Series X means. It's a little badge that will probably appear on game boxes, or I'm not sure how they're gonna put it. It's probably gonna be on the front of like a game box. So do you guys know what that is? And if so, does it impress you? Let's go to Insane Kicks.
This is actually the first time I'm hearing of it. Series X. So it's a. What exactly is it again? It's
so basically, when it says optimized for Xbox Series X, you can expect that game to have a performance target of 60 frames per second and 4K resolution. So it'll also have like some different next gen features like DirectX ray tracing, and it will eliminate in-game load times, according to Microsoft. This is straight from them. So when you see that badge, that's essentially what it means. So
Yeah.
I guess that can be that's mostly going to be on their first party titles, but it can also apply to other things, which is really cool.
Yeah. Huh. That's. I mean, I don't see that being entirely game breaking, but it could. It could ruin. I could see this ruining like announcements for games in the future if they start doing that a lot, and like if there's ever like any other leaks. I think that could be a bad thing. But as far as like titling anyway, but all that actually sounds pretty good. I'm not going to be getting an Xbox, but I'm a PlayStation. Oh, my friends are PlayStation hard boys, so I stick with them.
Nice. Okay. What about you, Urs? What do you think about it?
This kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Xbox One X enhancements a little bit. However, the one thing that I do like about the Series X is that it kind of makes me feel a little bit hopeful about older games like 360 or Xbox maybe being resold with that premise of, hey, it's even more enhanced on the Series X.
Mm-hmm.
I'm personally fine with it. I'm just kind of waiting to see like if there's any big changes to it that'll like affect gameplay and like, whoa, that was a cool jump in that video stream.
Thank you.
When but because I remember like Red Dead Redemption 2 being like, oh, you could play it on like Xbox One, but if you replay it again on Xbox One Series, not Xbox One Series X, but like, God, I really hate their naming convention. The Xbox One X,
Uh-huh.
and the graphics were actually much better than the PlayStation 4 Pros. I could see that working very well as far as like helping out pre-owned copies go, or giving some longevity to certain games that were released a while back. But it's more of right now I'm thinking of it more as this sounds like an interesting thing, but I want to see how it goes well first.
Mm-hmm.
As far as my console preference right now, it's kind of leaning a little bit more towards Xbox One X, whereas Xbox Series X, whereas before I was all PlayStation 4 just because of the specs and more games and more information coming out from that. But honestly, it's just a matter of how it all works at launch and if the price is good.
This is such an interesting podcast because you guys
Wow.
have totally different preferences. This is great. Yeah. So basically,
I mean,
when you oh yeah, go ahead.
so, I'm not opposed to Xbox at all. But by any means, I used to have one, but I do. I will agree to the naming convention. Theirs is really wacky. They should have kept with the like a, a theme there because I think they had it right with 360. And I talked about this with an old friend. They should have gone with like 1080 and they should have gone with the actual resolution of that generation. So like with the 360 and the one should have been like 1080 or 4K, and then this one should have been the Xbox 8K or 4K for that one, whichever you want to do for that.
Yeah, all the Xbox names, it like grows on me over time, but I never even liked the 360 name. I remember seeing the E3 trailer for that, and I'm like, huh? Because I think everybody was expecting it to be called like the just Xbox 2 or it was so long ago, my brain doesn't go back that far. But essentially, yeah, their naming conventions are a little weird. Um, I think we can all agree with that. Like the Xbox Series X, then it's probably going to be the Series S for their rumored console, which we can talk about a little bit later, and all that. But basically, that badge means a performance target of 60 frames per second at 4K, which is great because I I want 60 frames per second more than resolution, and that was something that Sony said they're going to do with some of their first party, but I didn't see it. So, uh,
Yeah.
so yeah,
The only the the only bad thing I could say about the Xbox One Series X is that it's making me really regret having an Xbox One instead of just sticking with the Series X.
Oh man, I'm really looking forward to next gen. I don't know about you guys. Like, it's what are you gonna say?
I'm excited for the next thing, the wave of games. So, well,
What games was popping in your brain when you said that? I was thinking Resident Evil 8.
well, it's so every. I had a game professor, two game professors say the same exact thing. One from back home in Jersey, and then one at SCAD. So this is how true I know this to be. Um, and it actually shows every 8 to 16 years or so, much like there is recession and depression in the economy. It's the same thing with the gaming um, community.
Right.
With all the games that there's usually a huge influx of just random influx of games, and then there will be like a mini crash, and then a whole new influx of games. This is our somewhat of a crash. We're coming up to a bunch of games where everybody's just complaining about everything. In my eyes, everybody's complaining about everything. So then we'll have a refresh of a new console generation, and that starts to build up slowly. Where you start off with just a few games for the consoles, and then they start to grow, and then the cycle will rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So, and this does affect the actual companies too. Companies will go under because of this as well. So,
Yeah, something
I'm excited to see the new refresh.
that is very interesting. Something I've been thinking about is reviews don't actually affect sales. It's a big thing. People think by posting really bad reviews on Last of Us, by spamming zeros, that it's going to make the game not sell as well. But it's throughout history you see that's not the case. What do you think about
Oh
that?
no, I mean, oh, I'm sorry. Was I supposed to
Yeah, I was
wait
headed towards you.
until? Oh, okay. Uh, like as far as like The Last of Us 2 goes, I'm not really surprised about it being a bestseller, just because it's a game that everyone's been waiting like 7 years on. It's a sequel to a beloved franchise, and for the most part, everyone's like, "Ah, I'm not gonna believe in some random user score that said zero." The review is just like keyboard taps of just random words together. I'm going to listen to the reviews and critics and stuff, and I get that more. So the fact that Last of Us 2 is a bestseller isn't really so much surprising for me. I will say though that I do unfortunately have to agree with the idea of like view count not being detrimental in well, I'm not sure if it's the term detrimental, but like view count does not mean good video game sales, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is a thing. Um, yeah,
And
that's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
I've seen like Suicide Squad, for example.
Hmm.
Not a great movie in my opinion, but it sold pretty well in theaters. Especially with that trailer of Bohemian Rhapsody kicking butt, and I was like, oh yeah, definitely got to see that movie. So like many others, I was fooled. But yeah,
I
that's one
remember
example.
when I remember when we both saw that trailer for the first time. We were like, "Did we like that?" And we had to rewatch it again to make sure.
Like, was that a
Oh
thing?
man.
I think so. Something else that Microsoft touted is smart delivery. So I know this is kind of confusing for some people. Even though Microsoft has been trying to explain, I feel like they explain it. They're like, "This is what this is. Do you guys get it?" And then some people are like, So, what do you guys think smart delivery is? Without me explaining it, because I know what it is, but I want to see what you guys think it is. What is smart delivery to you guys? So let's go to worse.
Do you want me to give an honest answer or a funny answer? Because
Both.
I could do both. Okay.
Both.
So, what smart delivery is that whenever you buy a game that's let's say for you buy a game for Xbox One just like normally, you if the game has smart delivery on it, you essentially have that same copy of the game when you go to pick up an Xbox One Series X, which is basically a cheaper way of upgrading a game. Just like so that way you're not buying another version of that same game on a different console.
Hmm.
You pretty much got it right away. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Destiny upgrade they did a while back, where PlayStation 3 users could like upgrade to the PS4 version, but that was a little bit complicated figuring that out a bit.
Yeah.
And what I really want smart delivery to be is that you call up a delivery service and they say like, "Hey, I want food," and they say no more," and they come with the food that you exactly want in your head. And you're just like, it comes with the sauce, and the delivery person like puts their gloved finger on your lips to quiet you. It's like, "Shh, I know, but it's okay because they washed their hands. The glove is clean." So this is the current times. That's what I want smart delivery to be, but that's not what it is.
If it's Phil Spencer doing it, then I'm all in. All right, what about you, Sin Cakes?
Oh man. Sorry, that was funny. Um, yeah, that's pretty much what I thought it was. It's just how they did it when they transferred from 360 to Xbox One and PS3 to 4. Because actually, PS4 was the first console I've ever bought day one. I have every console I've ever got before then. It took me like 2 years to get.
Yeah.
What happened with PS3 to 4 is you buy a copy of a game, like I had Battlefield 4 on PS3, and you just pay $5 extra and you just download it on PS4 and use the same PS3 disc and it works the same. So it's just that, but free.
Nice.
Xbox is really notoriously bad for explaining things because they actually had a really good system for Xbox One originally, where they would have actually brought game prices down to like $30, but people were like freaking out because they didn't fully understand how they explained it.
Yeah, that's a
That
whole.
was like
I
years
feel
ago
like
though.
that's a whole video I have to make because that time frame they really were bad at messaging. There were some cool things I think we could have benefited from around that time. Like they were just think about it now. They were basically wanting you to be able to trade your games digitally online, which would have been really awesome. But a lot of people were like, "No, digital. I don't really like digital game." And to be fair, it was a lot of other things like the DRM and all that different stuff. But to be able to like let your friend borrow your digital game was a really cool feature. I would have loved to be able to do that, but it came with a lot of crappy messaging from Microsoft. Uh,
I just I just still to this day I will remember the video PlayStation put up immediately after. It's like, this is how you trade with your friends, and he just hands him a box. I thought
Nice.
I died. I died. It was
I remember,
hysterical.
I remember Sony is trying to do something like that with share play, but I have not heard anyone talk about share play at all, even though it's still there, which is a shame because I think it's a good way for a friend to try out a game for free, especially in this COVID age where it's like, hey, I want to try this game out, but I don't want to buy it. Here, you can share play with me. Oh man.
That's something that's going to be really
Yeah.
cool with the xCloud, where you might be able to demo games where online through the cloud, right? You can try out the game for a bit, see if you like it. If you like it, you don't download anything. You just sort of like streaming on like YouTube or, or something like that. You could stream the game, see if you like it, then purchase it. So I could see how that could be really good. I would have said like, that's okay of a feature because I had bad internet, but now I have good internet, so I see the ways. I see the different things or why that could be really cool to try out a game by streaming it. So yeah, smart delivery to me, it's basically just if the developer didn't make a Series X version of that game, it'll still automatically upgrade in some way because of Microsoft's architecture. So that sort of leads to the optimize badge, but basically smart delivery is like, if I buy a game, then I have it going forward. So if I buy the game on Xbox One, I'll have it on Series X. What makes it a little bit different than other consoles or previous examples is the fact that it'll upgrade it in some way. It'll actually mandate the best version for it. So if you bought an Xbox One version of the game and you bought a Series X, and the developer didn't make a Series X version, then that means it'll still sort of upgrade it until the developer decides to make a Series X version. So that's what's sort of different about it. Like it'll upgrade it in some different way. So if it's on the Xbox One and that you play it on the Series X, it'll still try its best to upgrade it. And then if the developer makes the Series X version, then it'll use that instead. Does that make sense? Did I do a good job there?
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, so the next thing we got going on is I want to talk a little bit about PlayStation. I don't know if I wrote it in the thing, but so Sony showcase. What did we all think about it? I thought it was great. What did you guys think about it?
The Sony press conference earlier
Yes.
with the PlayStation 5 games announcement and stuff like that. We're talking about that one?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure if there's another conference
like,
I wasn't aware of.
The one I just said was great. That one.
Hey, the one we all watched together.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I just had to make sure, but no, I liked it a lot. I think the games that they announced were fine. There is still some marketing or labeling issues that are still a little bit odd, like how I didn't really know that Spider-Man Miles Morales was coming out in the holiday of 2020, and then they were kind of like going back to that weird back and forth between, it's like it's an expansion. No, it's a separate game, but it could be on PlayStation 4. No, not on PlayStation 4. It's just like, so there's a weird kind of miscommunication there. The more I kind of think back to it, there's more games that I'm like looking back on and kind of having more interest on, like that little devil game, Bug Snacks,
for sure.
and
you know that. Okay.
No, you go.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were serious when you said Bug Snacks or if it was like I'm actually looking forward to Bug Snacks.
Oh no! I kind of want to see what they're gonna do with Bug Snacks. If Because people are saying like, "Yo, what if it turns out to be a horror game?" And I'm like, "Okay."
I've seen so many.
That's great.
Seen so many memes of Bug Snacks where people are just like, "This is the best game of all time." Oh man, what'd you think about it, Insane Cakes?
Yeah, I'm very much excited for Bug Snacks. I'm intrigued by it. Like I'm very curious to see what they're gonna do with it. Um, I'm a huge fan of the Spider-Man game. That is like there are very few games that I intentionally 100%, and Spider-Man was one of them.
Oh yeah.
So I'm definitely gonna play Miles Morales. I do see it being just as like an expansion of the game that could have just been okay as an expansion, but if they're gonna upgrade everything to whole next gen graphics and all that, then good for that. But I don't think the gameplay is gonna change that much um, from Spider-Man to Miles Morales, which is my complaint from Last of Us to Last of Us 2. Same complaint. The gameplay doesn't feel like it changed that much, but like even with one, like the game wasn't. They didn't bring anything new to the table. It was a very common type of game style gameplay that you could see otherwhere, but they did it right. Like the thing about it is they did gameplay right. They did it well. They just didn't reinvent the wheel, sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure. I
And
think
but
Insomniac
that's what
guys
I
are geniuses.
yeah. Yeah, but that's what I think they're gonna do with Miles Morales. Like they're just gonna keep the same game, just Miles Morales, and do a great story. So, well, with Last of Us, that's debatable. So, um, uh, as far as the rest of the conference, I always forget the name of it because I haven't kept up with it. The guys who made Hyper Light Drifter, the new game that they're making, I'm very excited for that because Hyper Light Drifters is absolutely phenomenal. That's another beautiful game right there. Um, and I think it's Scorched something.
Which
I
game?
did forget to mention about Deathloop being trailer
Oh
I keep
yeah.
looking back to along with RE8.
And Deathloop. That was the other
Deathloop.
one.
Oh yeah. Those developers are great. I thought the conference was the presentation was what did it for me. I have complaints just like everyone, but that's what that's what Microsoft needs to do. They need to sort of present their games like that, not like the thing we saw with what was it, last month's showcase. But that wasn't really meant to
Well,
be a big
there-
showcase, huh?
You're talking about the one with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, how there wasn't really
Yes,
much gameplay shown.
yes. But if you think about it, and this just goes out to whoever's watching, if you actually think about it, the same amount of gameplay. So they started off the show with Bright Memory Infinite, right? I don't know if you guys seen that show.
No.
Um, they started off the game the event with Bright Memory Infinite, and then they showed a bunch of just like show reels of different games. So that was like where you mostly seen gameplay. You seen gameplay in the very beginning, and then the rest was show reel. If you think about it, that's sort of how the PlayStation 5 event sort of was. It showed Gran Turismo gameplay, and then it showed Ratchet and Clank, and then the rest was sort of show reel, different like trailer bits, which I'm completely fine with. But if people are gonna be playing, they gotta look at both shows. What I did like a lot of the games that were presented. Resident Evil 8 is the one I'm looking forward to the most, probably. I don't know why. It's like I think I just started playing the second one, and I think that's why. It's very fresh in my brain, so I'm really looking forward to that. The Miles Morales thing was very unfortunate, at least for me. I think I would have loved to have like a whole full game dedicated to it. Um, this seems like it could be on PlayStation 4, and it's like if they're using the same assets. It seems like it was going to be DLC, but they decided that it could just be on PlayStation 5. At least that's how I feel about it. And I'm right with you with the collection. I still have not finished the game, because I have been trying to get every single side mission, and I actually almost did. I think I got all the.
Oh, you haven't been Spider-Man yet, have you, Mario? I mean,
Oh, damn.
3-bit.
Yeah, I haven't. I'm like, oh, the Mario. Yeah, I haven't beaten the game yet. I've played with other people who has beaten the game, but I'm at the very end. I just don't want it to end. Haha. um, because I keep doing all the
No,
side
you can
missions
still.
and what were you gonna say?
No. I was gonna say something to make fun of you. You know, you can You can still play the game after you beat the campaign.
Dang it!
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that.
Dang it! I had no idea actually. This is. I had no idea. I was like, because sometimes you beat a game and then you have to go back to like a certain checkpoint or
Yeah,
games
yeah,
nowadays
yeah,
are
yeah.
I thought it was that. Okay, that's actually good to hear. Maybe I'll
I
actually
beat the game.
progress with the story finally. But I have a huge catalog of games I have to play. Um, it's just too much. I'm trying to play
Never grown.
Control.
Don't we all?
But you know what? It's if there's any time to play it, it's now, right? With everything going on.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. So what are some games you guys are excited to see in the showcase in July? I know Insane Cakes, you're a PlayStation guy. Worst, you're Xbox guy. Or no, you're not. You're not at all. You are very much. I just started thinking about that. I know him, so he's very much a person who is not in the console war at all. He's just the guy in between. Like, hey guys, we can all play Switch.
I'm more on that too. Like I the only reason I stick with PlayStation is just I have more friends just on PlayStation, so I play with them. If they all switch to Xbox, I would switch to Xbox with them. I've got friends on PC, so I play PC games as well. Honestly, I'd rather play PC more than any other game, but I just like the feeling of controller, so
Yeah,
it doesn't really
same.
matter.
I'm very neutral and open on everything, and I guess with 3-bits announcement of my lineage, yes, I am a Nintendo fanboy. But no. I just always kind of had this perspective that every game console's got their own thing, and I just kind of looked at it as like I want to experience it all, and I want to see what everyone has to offer. Just this thirst of knowledge and stuff. So that's why I never really felt like the need to like damper down or be like Xbox is better or PlayStation is better. I think there's some cases where like as far as accessibility or the way the console's manufactured goes, like I definitely like playing on the Xbox 360 more than the PlayStation 3 at the time, but then you get stuff like Uncharted and Last of Us are like, okay, I'll forgive you. And same thing with like Xbox, although all of the Xbox One original stuff is just like all the Xbox original games are just like available also on other consoles. So like with Cuphead, that's like on PC and Switch, but I still love playing on the Xbox. I'm trying to give like more of a chance at PC gaming, mostly just because of like I have nothing against it. I love the modability of it. I love just taking it with me on my laptop and just seeing like how the game works by itself and just kind of tinkering with all that. I definitely love emulating. I love that a lot. I love emulating stuff.
Yes.
That's one thing that pisses me off about Sony. They need to really, if emulators are able to make it so PlayStation 2 games and PlayStation 3 games can work on the PlayStation 4 through emulation modding, there is no reason why a billion-dollar company Sony couldn't. PS2 had a lot of great games. PlayStation 3 had a lot of great games. I want to see that. I want them to focus on that. I know you got to push Sony a little bit sometimes.
It's funny. It's so funny. Well, the weird thing about the PlayStation 3 was the first, I think it was like within the first year, like it could play PlayStation 2 games because it had a whole PlayStation 2 in it, and it like separated from the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, like inside. I remember the George Foreman grill. Was it that one?
Yeah, yeah.
I had the other
George
one,
Martin.
right? I
I got the
remember.
one that didn't have PlayStation 2 compatibility.
Yeah,
That was
that's it.
cheaper.
Yeah, it's weird because Sony does have a history of backwards compatibility but with their hardware, not really their software. So I'm guessing that um, they could do it through software, seeing as other modders can. If modders can do it, then I think Sony can do it. I think they just need to make it a priority for them. I don't think they see it as one. So we'll see.
Well,
I really hope so.
I think there's also a problem with reselling old games because half of the games that came from like PlayStation 1 and older, like the or sorry, PlayStation 2 and older, half of those companies like went under. So like, who do they pay those out to, sort of thing? So like, they can't do
Mm-hmm.
like all those games. But doing just a simple emulator, like an emulator is light. The emulator doesn't have that much memory capacity anyway, so they
Yeah.
could easily put that in there.
Yeah, especially if you are emulating, unlike the PlayStation 4, right, where it's a lot more
Yes.
powerful than a PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
so they could do it. We just need to keep yelling about it. Tell Jim Ryan like, hey, I want this. And I'm sure people will do it over time. Something. Also about
Oh, we
that.
forgot.
What?
I was gonna say, did we answer your question about what we're looking forward to with Xbox,
Oh
Oh
or
yeah.
yeah,
we?
I'm still gonna go on that, but he made an interesting
Okay,
point
good.
about that. Like you said, what did you say? Gosh, so many topics. The the PlayStation. Oh yeah. So Microsoft is actually doing something. You guys should look at some interesting videos. I'll send it to you later. But they talk about how hard it is for licensing older games for the Xbox, and where old companies, they want, if there's like a glitch in a game that people really liked, like let's say you fall off a mountain and you boost across the map because of the hardware on the 360. If you import that game to the Series X, it's possible that that glitch is fixed. So the developer actually is like, hey, I don't want that. I don't want that glitch to be fixed, which is actually really interesting, right? Um, so the Xbox team, they have to deal with not only with licensing issues with their games, they also have to deal with developers really wanting them not to touch certain things, or maybe not even increasing the frame rate, even if they could. So what do you guys think about that?
Cowards.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think if you want I don't know, I would want older games to be at 60 frames per second. That'd be awesome. Like Fusion Frenzy, 60 frames per second. I'm down for it. Um but yeah, let's talk about the showcase of games that's coming up, because I know we sort of sidetracked a little bit. Um so there are a few games announced, but first I want to say that Phil Spencer's feeling really good about the show. I don't know if you guys seen recent videos about it, but I have a quote from him. He says he feels really good about the lineup, especially after checking out a bevy of unannounced and unannounced titles. We know it's important. We know that it's something that our fans want, but I also say we're going to create our first party around the things that we feel we need to do in order to stand up for Xbox. Sometimes we get suggestions, where is your X game or where is your Y game? And people look at the other hardware platforms. I don't think our goal is to replicate what other people have done. It doesn't help the industry to have people that are doing exactly the same thing with their platform, services, or content. So, what do you guys think about that? Let's go to worse.
I don't know how to. Like, on the one hand, I was okay with the quote of being like, "Oh, I'm feeling really good about what I've got," because it reminded me a little bit of Dragon Ball Z, where it's just like, "Huh, you seem to go to Super Saiyan 2, huh? You showed my real power." and then like they like show their whole thing and shit. But oh, I said an S word.
That's what.
But anyway, I am a little bit unsure. But like, oh, everyone's trying to do the same thing, and we're not really interested in doing that. And I'm like,
Yeah, I can see
a
that as
little
a
bit
good thing
skeptical
or a
about
bad
that.
thing. But so far, I mean, up until this point, they have been killing it with marketing. The only fault I would say is their last showcase. In terms of like consumer friendly moves, they have been killing it so far. They the last check mark on my list for Microsoft is they need the games because Sony has been proving for years that they have the studios. Xbox now has, I think, 16 studios now. That's Obsidian, Ninja Theory, 343, and then the Initiative, which has developers from God of War and Uncharted, like in
Yeah,
Santa Monica. So
Santa Monica.
they have some interesting things they're hiding. So this could be a good thing. I could also see. I hope they do not disappoint me. What do you think about it in
There's
Phoenix?
there's only one game and one game only that will make me buy an Xbox Series X no matter what, and that's Fable 4, and they have yet to announce it. So I'm
I
so
was
sorry. I'm a huge Fable fan. I go back and play those games. 3 was a little bit of an upset, but honestly, I actually really enjoyed playing it. I wish they could have gone further with it, but I've been keeping my eye on that for years because apparently I forget who, somebody bought it and they're trying to announce Fable 4.
Yeah.
I was really hoping you'd say like Blink's a Cat 3 just to be like a just sort of like it'll be like Knack 3 for PlayStation 5, baby.
Blinks the Time Cat. That would be interesting to have Blinks mixed with Conquer. I want to see that. Blinks and Conquer
Oh
the
Yeah.
game. Make
no.
it happen.
For me though, I do agree that Fable's a big thing for me as well. I loved all 3 games, even though the third one was questionable and stuff, especially the microtransactions and whatnot.
Yeah.
I feel like I had this belief that every Fable game, like especially including like 1 and just like the best ones, I feel like there's if you took all the good parts out from each of the games and turned it into one game, you would have the best Fable game.
Yeah,
I
for
actually
sure.
did not know that there was microtransactions in Fable 3. I played Fable 1 and 2. I can't remember 3 for some reason. They had microtransactions as the thing.
There's like a point where you had to like buy money for a black hair dye, I think.
Yeah,
Oh
you
no.
you can get like this sex changing potion too if you wanted to. Like you can earn it in game, but you could also pay for it with money. I remember you were able to do that too.
Oh no.
And other stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Fable
It's
will
been a
be
while.
there. I'll talk about some of the games that might be there. Fable, I do think will be there. One of the developers that bought them, I think, because Lionhead is closed down. It's rumored that they have a whole dedicated team for Fable from the developers of Turn 10, I believe, was one of them. Um, so people either think Turn 10, who made Forza, is working on the game, or it's either them or the Initiative. They think. I kind of hope that's not what the Initiative are working on. In my opinion, I think they should work on a whole new IP, especially with the talent at that studio. But I do think Forza will be there, and I also think Fable will be there. Which go ahead.
It's also kind of a no-brainer that Halo's going to be there.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, Halo has been confirmed
With
to be there.
with each new console, it's a new it's always a new Halo. But I will say that is also the other game I'm waiting on because they haven't released anything on it, right? Like they've only shown that one image from like last year where it's just Master Chief taking off his helmet. I am guessing right now it's going to be an open world game, and I really hope it will be.
Yeah, I think
I want to see open world.
it seems like based on the rumors, it's going to be open world. You will fight the Banished. They just released a teaser a couple days ago. um, where they have the Banished. So if you don't know the Banished, he's pretty much the Thanos of the Halo universe. I think that's the
Did you say
best way.
Thanos?
He's basically Thanos. um,
Oh wow, that thing looks badass.
yeah. Um, he's in
Actually,
Halo
we
Wars
kn-
too. Also,
um
you guys should be really impressed by my gameplay. I think this is the best run I've had.
wait,
Did
wait,
you
hold on.
do a no kid? Did you do a no die run here?
Yep. Yes, I did.
Actually,
Well,
sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
I know somebody who's actually working on the new Halo too. He went to SCAD, and I did a game jam with him, and we actually won. He actually won the year after too.
So tell him
Ooh.
to contact me and leak the entire.
I message him every once in a while. Like, you got anything on Halo? I was like, I can't talk about it.
Has
Like,
he
damn it!
given you like false leaks? Like
No, nothing.
Oh man.
Master Chief's about to like exit out of the drop pod, but then Abby shoots his legs. But then it turns out it's The Last of Us 2 again.
It's all a dream.
It turns out that that one playthrough you did where you killed the Marines, that wasn't ignored in the save file. So now you're
Oh man.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting. But yeah, Infinite is a game I'm really looking forward to the most, I would say. If I had to choose like one show from the showcase. But then there's a lot of games we don't know about yet. So if the
Mhm.
initiative is working on what they describe as a third person AAA action adventure similar to something like Last of Us. So I hope that's really cool. We have a lot of cool developers working on the game. A lot of the developers left the production of Last of Us 2 at some point, and they went to the initiative. So we'll see what they're cooking up in July. I'm sure. I'm like 100% sure they will be there. Then you have Scorn. You guys know Scorn. I'll probably be there.
oh yeah, that game.
Yeah, that game is gross, and I'm looking forward to it. Um, Cuphead 2,
Oh
maybe?
yeah,
Question mark.
What two?
Cuphead 2. That would be great.
that would be good.
They haven't released the DLC yet.
I'm thinking they said screw the DLC, sort of like a Spider-Man Miles Morales, and then they
Oh no, you can't.
made a whole sequel.
Oh
Um,
no.
we'll see though.
I I wish Rare would make a good game again. Remember the good old days?
No, that's too far.
Oh,
What other games that I haven't said or that you guys might expect to see at this showcase? What are some games? So you're expecting Fable, Insane Cakes. What about you, Worse?
well, well, Fable and Halo are two of my things, but I would like to see what Obsidian's going to be doing because they got bought out by Microsoft, but they still need to release the DLC for the Outer Worlds. I know they're still obligated to do that for multiplat before the purchase. I'm just more curious about what the other companies are going to be doing that are bought by Microsoft and seeing what they've got in store. I just remember they did the whole, oh yeah, you're a kid and you're like shrunk down. And it's like, honey, I shrunk the kids, but there is no honey. There's a spiders and tarantulas and you fight. And then there was that new
Dude,
Rare
that
game
game
with
actually
like,
surprised. That game is actually great. That was weird. I thought that game would be trash. Um, I played that game. Actually, had a really good time. Um,
okay.
yeah, you guys should check out that game. It surprised me. I was like, oh, this game's gonna be crap. Um, I actually really enjoyed that game. It surprised me and a lot of other people. You see reviews on it, they're like, "What the heck?" I actually enjoyed that. Um, yeah, that's cool. There's a lot of other studios. What about you, Insane Cakes?
Um. Well, from the Microsoft show, I mean, they said they're going to do Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but they're also going to do that for Ubisoft too. Um. Hmm.
All right, because they might have their own showcase. I'm
Yeah.
guessing. Yeah. Um,
I'm a huge fan of Assassin's Creed. I've played every one of the main titles. I haven't done any of the offshoot ones, but I I don't know why, because some of the games are extremely bad, but I still love that series, and I love anything that has to do anything with Vikings, Vikings, Egyptian stuff, or pirates.
Yep.
Egyptian stuff in particular, because I feel actually I'm leading into another game with this. So give me a second. Egyptian stuff in particular because it is such an untapped like genre for video games, period. And Origins, Assassin's Creed Origins, scratched at it. Like they did a really good game, but they could have gone further with it in my eyes. And I really think like other games should do an Egyptian game, and there is one that has done it really well in the past called Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy. Absolutely phenomenal PlayStation 2 GameCube era game, and they re-released it on the Switch, and they announced that Sphinx would make a good game in the future, good second sequel in the future because they left it in such a cliffhanger in the original game, and then they went under. So I'm hoping to see that, whether it's under Microsoft or who bought it out. Um,
It
who
might,
bought out that company? Nordic, something Nordic. THQ
Uh,
Nordic.
oh,
THQ Nordic?
yeah. They're dead. They are
Yeah.
definitely dead.
Yeah, THQ died and then they came back, or THQ Nordic is their own separate thing, then bought them.
Favorite Assassin's Creed? You have 5 seconds.
They're
Assassin's Creed, yes. Sorry, long rant.
What is your favorite Assassin's Creed? 5 seconds.
I really did enjoy the last one, which was Odyssey, because there's a lot of Greek stuff, so that's why I didn't put Greek on there as a untapped thing, because there's so many Greek games out there. But I really enjoyed it. Very big. There was not much I had to complain about that one, but I think I like Black Flag even more, because I think that's just an all-around perfect game. Like that gets a 10 out of 10 on my book.
For me, it's Assassin's Creed Black Flag. What about you, Urs? What's yours?
For me, it would be I need to beat all the other Assassin's Creed games besides one to have an opinion on Assassin's Creed. But my favorite Assassin's Creed guy is the one that appeared in Soul Calibur 5. That guy, he was
so
cool.
Ezio. So,
Ezio?
Yeah.
Ezio's everybody's favorite.
My name's Ezio.
I remember
Ezio,
when I was
go.
young, I was like, man, I wanted Altair. Who's this Ezio guy? Then when I played Assassin's Creed 2 again, I was like, Ezio ain't that bad. Why was I being whiny back then?
Yeah, I loved
Ezio's
if I had to choose one, though, Assassin's Creed 2. I really loved that one. Just thinking back at it now. I played almost all the Assassin's Creeds. I think I have every single one. But Ubisoft, if they're listening to this podcast, which I don't think they are, but if they were, I want Assassin's Creed in Japan, and not like a mobile cheap one. Make it happen.
So you want, there's a game that actually does that. It's called Ghost of Tsushima and Sekiro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That game's gonna be great. I don't care what anybody says.
I'm still gonna play that game.
And now that I'm thinking about it, talk about Beyond Good and Evil 2, you losers.
Oh yes, I forgot about that.
I keep forgetting about that game. You think that'll be at the
same?
Got two.
They forgot to make the game. Sorry, guys.
That game looks very ambitious, and I'm liking it. That's like that game doesn't feel like it's made by Ubisoft, because they're actually working on it and actually trying. I don't know.
It's scary to do a game that ambitious.
Yeah.
Because that's half the reason why Fable kind of failed. Because in a sense, it kind of failed because they said, "Oh, you can make these choices, and all these big things will happen." You make these choices, and like nothing much happened. So, like when you do something ambitious like that, it's not always a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think it has the potential of the whole Star Citizen curse.
Oof.
So I hope that doesn't
Yeah.
happen to it.
No, that's
Um,
still being developed. What are you talking about?
And that's where it'll stay
that's where it'll stay.
forever.
I actually played Star Citizen. It is very buggy. The last time I played it, but if they finish that game, that's gonna be an amazing experience. If they finish it, right? Um, 'Cause
They
there's a
never
lot of stuff in
will.
that game that's really impressive. They just need to finish it. Honestly.
It's too
Okay.
much for me.
Lastly, some games I'm looking forward to is I know that um 343 is going to show Halo Infinite. It's also rumored that they are, well, it's not rumored, it's actually confirmed that they are working on another Halo title that will be next to Infinite, sort of a like a Halo ODST ish
Halo
type
Wars
game.
3.
Or I would love for it to be Halo Wars 3. So I expect to see some type of announcement there. And I really want to come back to this video and just be like, I was right about everything. A Cuphead 2, yes. Halo Infinite and the other game, yes, I was right about that. But I guess we'll we'll see. All right, so one topic we could do before we close is Doctor Disrespect, unless you guys had anything else from that you wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, there's a Series S. That's one thing. Series S. What do you guys think about it?
You mean the is that the one without the disk drive?
No, so so Sony is doing a thing. So I don't know which approach is actually better, because Sony is making it so you have the version of the console where it has a disk drive and the version without. They're pretty much the same console, right? So in terms of costs, it's probably just going to be $50 cheaper, because that's pretty much the cost of a Blu-ray drive. So maybe like 450 to like 500. In terms of the Xbox Series S, this is like a whole other system that's just overall cheaper, like $100 to $200 cheaper, because they're basically making it a little bit weaker. So it's like a more powerful Xbox One X version of the console. So it's a little bit more affordable for people. I'm not sure which approach is better. I could see pros and cons to both. What do you guys think about it? Let's go to Insane.
Well, I want a disc drive because I like me my physical. I like holding things, and I like holding that plastic that might eventually kill something. I'm just kidding. It's a joke. I when it comes to technology, things like that, and you have to downgrade something just to make it cheaper, I personally don't like that, because then I feel like if you're like playing like a multiplayer type of game, like there's always going to be like an argument between friends among that, and like it's not always a good thing. Like I wish there was another way they could have made it cheaper without having to mess with the quality of it. But there might not have been another way to do that, so I'm not on that. But
Yeah.
I'm to make it more affordable for other people who can't afford an expensive console like that. I'm for it. I just wish it wasn't for quality's sake.
Yeah, I agree. I think basically what they've been reporting on it is it'll have the same, benefits of the Series X. It will just have possibly like lower resolution. So still have the SSD, still have all that different stuff in there. It's just the resolutions might be down a bit. What do you think about it, Worse?
For me, there's like a time where I only want discs or stuff like that. Digital is just like a once in a while thing, but after this whole COVID thing, I've realized that most of the games I've purchased are digital. So it's really going to depend. I personally would prefer a disc drive, because that way, if someone were to like, hey, here's my game. Oh, I don't have a disc drive. Oh, well, that sucks. Then I want to have that option just in case. So I guess you can't really trade or borrow games digitally. So I think I'm just gonna stick with the disc drive. I agree with Insane Cakes that as long as it's cheaper, it works. And if that'll help out with people, also agree that I still kind of prefer that plastic in my hands. I think it just really depends on what you're kind of feeling for. Because I've known some people that do digital only and some that do disc only. There's some benefits to both of those, especially physical having a bit of a tax on it. But I'd say just I'm gonna stick with the disc drive versions for both Xbox and PlayStation 5. I hate how the PlayStation 5 just kind of looks like it was there as an afterthought. Like they just
It really
literally
does.
just like
Yeah.
Oh man.
they just taped the disc drive, just like smeared it over with cement to be like it works. And but I am gonna go with the disc drive version of that. But I do see the benefits of having a diskless drive, especially with what's going on right now. So yeah, that's my opinion there. And as far as I was going to move on to the next topic, but I want to let you do that first, so
Yeah,
I could
for sure.
say something funny
Wait,
about it.
wait, one more thing. One more thing. I just want to say that the memes on the PS5 look have been absolute fire.
Oh,
Like
they are.
the Kaiba one is the best. That one killed me.
I love the
I like
collar.
the JoJo one where it has like one of the guys has like his hair is like a style of an Xbox One X, and like the stand is this model after an Xbox One's is modeled after PlayStation 5.
Yeah, it's definitely
It's too
interesting.
good.
I think I would need the disc drive because if I want my PlayStation 4 games to work on the PlayStation 5, I have an all physical collection. So in my case, I sort of would need the disc drive if I want to play PS4 games, unless I want to rebuy those games, which I absolutely do not. So I sort of have to go with the physical version. So I guess I'll be eating that extra $50. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic. I just picturing like the Yu-Gi-Oh guy on the PlayStation 5 now. Thank you for that. The last topic we have is Dot Disrespect, who was banned from Twitch. So this just happened today. So I was like, okay, I'll squeeze that in the show, even though it's like it's gaming related. So what do you guys watch Dr. Disrespect? What do you guys think about it? I don't even know why he was banned. So there's no information right now as of the recording of this on why he was banned. But what do you guys think about it? Insane.
I'm actually looking up exactly why right now. However, I'm gonna get into a little rant again.
Yep.
I like watching him. I think he's a very entertaining person to watch. However, I know a bit about his background, personal life, which kind of ruins it for me. But I'm able to disassociate somebody from their personal life from their actual entertainment side of things, which is what I do with movies and games and stuff. Because one of my favorite horror movies of all time, the director was a pedophile. I went to jail for it. All of that. I hate him for it, but he made one of my favorite horror movies of all time. But that's like one thing. I feel like people should disassociate things, is people's personal life from their entertainment. Yes, they shouldn't make money from it because I mean, like, but they still make good content, sort of thing. So it's kind of sad to see that go away, but at the same time, he's for attempting to disguise racism as comedy in his streams.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
That's
is that why? Did they finally
Yeah,
have
literally.
it? Oh, it's like a
Just
breaking
read
news. Interesting. Yeah, I think
But
go ahead. You had more.
well, no, yeah, like something like that though. Like if you're gonna enable things like that, then yes, be banned. But it's weird to see it both ways because I'm not in support of him, and I'm glad he's banned. I will just overall say that to finish that off.
If that's the reason, though, I guess that's like breaking because I'm looking at different articles and they're like, I don't know why. That's interesting. What about you, Urs?
As hmm. I'm trying to find a way to pun the respect on there because I have okay. So the only Twitch streamer that I remember like really liking a lot was Etika, and I still miss him. He just had like he was just very positive, and his reactions were just so great to watch and stuff.
Mhm.
I never really kept with the esports stuff, like with Ninja or with Doctor Disrespect or anyone else. The only ones I usually keep up with are just for the memes or just like I see the aftermath of the memes, like that one guy that plays League of Legends who's got it's like very swole.
Tyler
He's
one.
got like yeah,
Yeah.
Tyler one. But I don't really watch the streams. I just watch the memes and see the memes. So that's my only knowledge of Twitch streamers. I do as far as how he got banned. I think I do kind of have to agree that, especially with Twitch, it's like you've got more of a larger platform, and you people are kind of like watching you just kind of do your normal thing, and that's where it's like just kind of joking around and stuff like that. It's you don't really get as much leeway just because you're in front of everyone, and everything's unscripted, which makes the racism even worse.
Yeah.
Which was I still don't even like what PewDiePie did. I never even liked PewDiePie to begin with when he did that shit.
Yeah, I think a
But
lot of people forget about that.
this is before he did. This is before he did that. And just to let y'all know, like I didn't care about it when Amnesia came around. I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna be that guy. It's like I never cared about this person to begin with. It feels superior. I'm gonna pull off that power move. But
Pull out that
I think
Pokemon card.
for people that yeah, it's my Yu-Gi-Oh card. I don't care, but I do kind of feel for people that did like him if they, were able to separate cube content from creator, like with Insane Cake said. I feel that a lot, but with Twitch, I feel like there's a lot more going on with it, especially when a lot more people are watching you, and I think stuff like that should be counted for. So, yeah, he's if he's got banned for making racist jokes in front of a large audience, then I'd say that's a good reason to get banned. So, yep.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
real quick, just to clarify, what I mean by disassociating, like, I mean specifically from personal life, because I remember I mentioned before the stream,
Yeah.
he was caught cheating with 4 different people, like that's one thing, but when you're publicly like doing racial jokes and stupid stuff like that, like that's bannable. But
Yeah, that's bad.
personal life and personal problems, well, granted, pedophilia, that's a little different. he the dude
Yeah.
the dude so the movie is Jeepers Creepers.
I knew it.
Yeah,
Oh, really? That
I
movie?
love it. Yeah, so I enjoyed the second one. I enjoyed the third one, but and I didn't know he was a pedophile until after I saw the second one. So just letting that out there. But um, it's it's really tough when you love something like that and then you find out, oh, this guy's a douchebag. It's really hard. I still love the movie. I still enjoy watching it all the time. It's just I've learned to disassociate things like that. But
Yeah.
I will not like the guy at all. I will never shake his hand if I ever had the opportunity.
I remember
Sort of thing. But
me and my professor at SCAD. We're all SCAD students here actually, and we were actually for hours was debating whether or not you can disassociate art from the artists, because there are a lot of artists who are just terrible people, but they made amazing works of art. So, do you ignore the piece itself because of the person is terrible, like a pedophile or something, or do you just treat it as a separate thing? That's such a interesting topic, and I have so many different thoughts on it.
it really depends. It really does depend on the different scenarios. Like the guy, he did get caught and he did go to prison for it. So I mean, it doesn't make it right by any means, but it doesn't. It makes it kind of better in the idea of like how I feel about it, not necessarily making it better.
Yeah.
Because that is 110% wrong. I don't want that taken out of context.
No, it's all good. I think
So,
this whole topic is just like it's hard to there's so many different scenarios, and when like I agree with that, like it kind of depends on whether or not I will stop supporting that person. At least for me, I like if I think a person is just like terrible and I'm making you money by supporting your work, then I try not to, because I don't want to give you money. What were you gonna say worse?
No. I just we just got into a very heavy topic here. But,
Sorry.
no. It's all good. It's all good. For me personally, as far as like art versus artist, I think there's always something to learn about other people's works, just to kind of improve on your own. I always look at everything as a learning experience. The only time where I kind of feel uncomfortable, like supporting someone with that, is if their views on their stuff entwines with their art to the point that you can't really ignore between like, oh, this is just for fun, and like, he's kind of a little bit like that, like especially the if we're talking about like with recent stuff, I think about the J.K. Rowling thing and how the Harry Potter fiasco kind of happened, and some people are kind of devastated to hear about her views there.
Right.
Others are saying that Harry Potter is a very important part of everyone's lives, so you can still appreciate that because there's nothing bad in those stories, and you can still like them. And then there's people like Chris D'Elia who just like got caught like texting up young people and stuff, and then like, oh yeah, just like from two show announcements, yeah, remember that episode where the guy plays a pedophile, and it's just like,
Yeah.
and it's weird because it's like, okay, you're saying you don't do this stuff and you're being accused for it, but you've been joking about this a bit too much. Like sometimes there's like cases where like, oh, well, this guy's joking, to like, okay, I think you might be a little bit too serious about this.
Yeah.
To the point that you kind of feel a little bit concerned about it.
Yeah, that's
that
always a thing. That's a good point you brought up. Oh man, yeah. My overall thought about it is I think the context of it does matter, because I think people have been getting banned from Twitch for like stupid reasons as well. Because Twitch is just I'm streaming on Twitch.
Scary.
Maybe I shouldn't say too much. But
oh no, we're on Twitch.
Oh no. But
Where do you think we are? Oh no.
The thing I'm streaming on right now.
They're on to us.
Hopefully this doesn't get taken down. But yeah, I think Twitch's policies in the past have been favorable to certain people and hasn't in the past, and I think that's just stupid. But what were you gonna say, Insane?
It's well, I was just gonna say it's also weird to kind of go back into the thing a little bit. It's weird to fall in love with something and then find out like the person who made it or such is like an asshole sort of thing. Like Rick and Morty, Dan Harmon was actually
Oh yeah, I remember this story. I do.
He had a sexual harassment lawsuit thing on him once. And the other thing that makes it that I can kind of like, I guess, sympathize for is when they actually like, when you could tell they actually mean that they feel like they're sorry, sort of thing. Because you can tell whenever he talks about it, like he feels like shit.
He has an entire video about that.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I actually haven't heard of this. This is the first time I'm hearing about it.
This is like back when in his community days, where that would, from what he said, I think, if I'm piecing it all together, that happened when he was working on Community, and because of that, he lost his job working on the show that he helped create, and that was what kind of created the seasons that weren't as well received.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which, that's like, talk about just like screwing the pooches royally to just like doing all that stuff, and only to have like, oh yeah, you did this horrible thing to a girl, and now your show's legacy is kind of ruined for it.
The same thing also actually happened recently to one of my favorite bands too, Brand New. They always sing about like how they've been cheated on, and all that stuff like that. Well, apparently the lead singer apparently cheated on his wife with I don't know if she was underage or just like 18 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
He ended up cheating on yeah. So like that's another thing that sucks. It's like I love this music because like they sing about getting cheated on like a lot. Like their first entire album is pretty much about one girl, and it was really good. And then this happens, and I was like, I can't listen to the songs anymore, and it sucks.
Just as long as it's not as bad as Kevin Spacey, I think.
Ooh, forgot about that.
I can't watch any movie without like adding in some terrible dark joke at the end of his lines.
Because which also sucks because Baby Driver is a phenomenal movie too, and
I know, yeah.
like
that Netflix show where he's president. That's a fantastic show. That show is amazing.
Yeah.
House of Cards, yes.
House of Cards, yeah. That happened with Chad Gilbert, and I know we're getting super off topic, but
we're just gonna roll through every show. Who fucked up?
We're not unlike other video game podcasts. We're talking about the serious hard issues. Who voted for the election? Do you believe in God?
We hit the hard issue here at Video Games HD. Yeah, Chad Gilbert. He was a. He was the front runner for New Found Glory. I don't know if you heard that band, but he cheated on Hayley Williams, which
I did not know any of that. Thanks for ruining that band.
Real quick.
Yeah, he's the reason why a lot of the songs from Paramore, a lot of those songs are about him. Like a lot of her new album, not the one that just came out, the one before that, whatever that was. Basically about them. But
playing with Jews.
Basically,
no, playing.
Yes. What is supposed to say? Playing with cheese.
Okay, that's fine.
Well, I hope I didn't ruin them too much. They're okay.
No, I'll still listen to it. It's just it's when it happens so fresh, it's hard to start to disassociate and get back into the music of things. Now I actually was listening to New Found Glory, so I've been a little delayed on like whole tech stuff. I went to North Carolina, the mountainside, where they are sent back into the 90s with their internet speeds. So I had a 6-hour drive, and I listened through every old 2000s and 90s song I could. So
right.
That was
okay. So I know Will's working on something, but the last topic we could talk about is basically with the cloud, the power of the cloud. So it'll be game related. We'll end on something game related. So So what do you guys think about the power of the cloud? What do you guys think about it? Let's go to Insane.
So, anything cloud related, like anything, very, very difficult for me to get to grasp on. I understand and know how it works. It's just always remembering to do different things like that, and like even with like cloud saves and stuff like and stuff for games. Always confuses me remembering to do that whenever I switch from console to console, or if I go to a buddy's house or something like that. Yeah. And the only time I ever see it useful is when I'm doing something like Photoshop, and then I have a different cloud save. As far as how they're doing it for the new consoles, I know zero. So.
Okay, cool. We can talk about it. What about you, Urs? What do you think about the power of the cloud?
I have the same opinion as Insane Cakes. I'm sorry, I'm just eating a burger at the moment. In my honest opinion, I think every save that you make in your entire life in video games should be saved on a cloud. So that way you can choose to either archive your mistakes or get rid of them.
Every
You'll
save
always
matters.
have a reminder of it. Yes. So, 3Bitio, would you like to explain to us how the power of the cloud works? So that
Yes.
way we can understand and have an opinion on it.
Yes, I will. So basically, what Microsoft is kind of in the front lead for this. They spent like billions of dollars in their cloud technology. That's going to possibly be shown on the Series X coming up. But basically, the benefits of the cloud are it's not meant to replace consoles. Like that's what Google Stadia is trying to do. It's not working very well. It's not really meant to replace consoles, but it is meant to sort of complement them. So if you're out and about in the grocery store or hanging out with your buddies, you want to show them Halo Infinite on your tablet, you can do that. Um,
Oh, you're talking streaming, game
yes,
streaming, like actual streaming.
yeah,
Not to be confused with Twitch streaming.
yeah, not Twitch streaming. This is
Yeah,
game
no,
streaming.
we don't talk about that. We don't talk about Twitch.
We don't talk about Twitch in case they ban me. But yeah, it's kind of that's some of the benefit is you'll be able to play your Xbox games kind of anywhere. Another benefit is you can try games. So like with Game Pass, you can get like 100 games for like $1. Amazing deal. Imagine if you have Game Pass and you also can stream the game. That means you can try it before you even download it. So that's another thing that's useful. Let's say you like, I want to play this game. I have Game Pass, but I don't know if I want to spend time downloading it. So where the cloud is kind of useful is you can just stream that game, and Microsoft servers spent billions of dollars on. Um, Hopefully they're better than Stadia's, which I think they are, which is why Sony is also using Microsoft servers in the future, which is really cool. Um, it's just going to be interesting. It's not meant to replace anything. It's just like another added feature. Like, oh yeah, that's cool. You can try out games before downloading them, and then you can play your games pretty much anywhere, on your phone, your tablet, on your Game Boy Color. You can play it anywhere. So, what do you think about it now? Now that you guys know what it is, what do you think about playing your Halo Infinite on the Game Boy Color? Worse.
Well,
That'd be awesome. If
okay.
If I could find my Game Boy Color and play any new game on it, dude, that'd be great. Are you kidding me? I would love to see it in a pixely version. Pixely version. Like that.
Yeah, it seems like you're Team
yes.
Xbox now because you can play it on the Game Boy.
Well, so PlayStation has a similar thing currently. It's just not you can't play it on anything, but it's a game streaming service that was it PlayStation Go
Now?
or something like that.
PlayStation Now?
Now is it now? Yeah. That's how I played Red Dead Redemption 1, and a few other games because it's a cloud streaming service, but only to the console. You can't do it on a phone or anything like that. I'm all for when it first did with Stadia, I didn't think we were there with the technology. I feel like same thing what I think with VR. Like VR is used for certain things, and I appreciate games and companies doing VR stuff. I just don't think I think it's more of a gimmick still than an actual tool to use for gaming. And I feel like the streaming services are still in that gray area, but once we get the technology to make it seamless, I hope Xbox can do it right, and then hopefully PlayStation could follow in suit. Because I would love to play a game on my phone, like have a little controller set up and just go somewhere and play it. I would love that more than anything.
Yeah, Phil Spencer also doesn't believe in VR yet. A lot of people have been asking for VR on Xbox. He's like, I think it's a gimmick right now. I have to see where it's headed. But yeah, I think you made some great points there. What about you, Worst?
So I think the idea is fine. I remember like PlayStation Vita kind of trying to do that a bit with its PlayStation 4 to be like focusing on remote play. My only concern, just like with Google Stadia, is your internet connection on whether that'll be good enough to run the game streaming or not. So I would like to see how they do that first before making any solid like, you know, do I fully support this stuff like that? I want to see what they can do with it first. I'm gonna be a VR stan here just because I'm eagerly waiting for Half-Life Alyx and trying to get a Valve Index and stuff. And I do have a PlayStation VR and knows that I do know that it has like there is a market for that, and there is, and it's not just because I bought one, but or not really bought one. I got it on my birthday. I take that back, but the fact that there's still like an interesting market for that. The only issue is just like the same issue that people have had with this current console generation is what's going to be pushed forward in terms of like power to graphic fidelity and stuff like that. It could be like seen as a gimmick thing where it's just like, okay, well, they have VR, but we don't really know much to do with it. As long with streaming, just like, yeah, we can stream it on your phone, but not a lot of people are using it the same way I mentioned about share play being something that I thought was interesting, but no one ever really used. So this is like everything else. This is more like a wait and see how it goes kind of thing.
Yeah,
I have seen Microsoft push.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say the one thing that's got me a little bit hopeful is that Microsoft. I remember Microsoft pushing this for a while with like Killer Instinct and Halo 5 and Master Chief Collection. So there might be something good with it. We're just gonna have to wait and see there. But I think Microsoft's kind of laid down more of the groundwork for that to where I could kind of believe them doing it.
Yeah, I think they have invested so much time and resources into this technology, and they're touting that it can be something really amazing, which is why, and I think a lot of people know that because even Sony came up to Microsoft and they're like, hey, could we borrow your servers for the next generation? So it's looking like it'll be impressive. It's just something that we have to just sort of wait and see. But it's looking like it can be really cool. It can only add, right? I don't see how it could be a damaging thing. I think it can be something that just adds to the experience, for sure. You made a point there. I can't remember. Dang.
I tend to do that a lot.
Dang. Yeah. So we're gonna close out. I do have some final thoughts about that. I think the differences in the generation, I want to see more of. I want to see the biggest jump you'll see in this generation, and I say it in some of my videos, is different frame rates. So higher frame rates and higher resolution. So if that's going to be the difference, the major difference between the PS4 and the PS5 or the Xbox One, the Series X, then I want to see that. I don't want to see companies like Ubisoft, Valhalla, pushing 30 frames per second. Both systems are really capable. That's what people are not getting. Both systems can be compared to the RTX 2080 Ti in terms of specs. They're not playing around this generation with the specs. The Series X is a little bit more powerful, but they are both capable of 60 frames per second and high resolution. So I want to see that. No excuses, Ubisoft. I know you're listening. All right, guys. So any final words before we close out? Let's go to worst.
Oh man, I'm really bad at these last words. Let's just.
What games are you playing?
Well, I guess I'm going back to Smash Bros. Since the new DLC character was announced, and I'm getting prepped up for that.
Who is it?
Min Min from ARMS.
I have no idea who that is.
I could beat all you in Smash Bros. All right, Insane Case. what game are you playing?
Aside from Last of Us, I play consistently Apex, Modern Warfare, Warzone, because that's what my friends are playing. On my own, I play World of Warcraft and old games that I like to emulate.
Yeah.
Oh, one quick thing to add up. I am very happy to see like a new refresh, a lot of platformer type games. I feel like I'm seeing a lot more of them, and I'm very happy about that because that was like the golden age of like the 64 era and the PlayStation 1, where there's just platformers everywhere, and they were all awesome.
I think that one of the best platformers of all time is Inside, which you should definitely try if you haven't played it. Yeah, so where can we follow you both? Insane. Where can we follow you?
I am on everything on the planet, and I do not manage it well. I am on Twitch at insane_cakes. I stream animations and occasionally games. I like live stream my animations. I also on Facebook, YouTube. I was on Mixer.
Ooh, tough.
All of it should be insane cakes of some form or fashion. If you find me on one of those, I have links to the others. Twitter, Instagram. I don't know. I have a lot. I really only manage the Twitch and the Facebook. I really should get into the YouTube. I'm trying to make YouTube videos.
Nice.
For me personally, I don't have any thing that would be followable. I think I had like one Twitter that I try to use for art, but I haven't really done much of that either. So if you want to follow me, I ask that you have like a 6-foot distance.
Just tell them to send a pigeon.
Yeah, just have a 6-foot distance, and then just send a pigeon to me. One of my cats will catch it. They will read it, and then it'll say "Worst you suck," and I'm like, "Oh darn!" And I'll keep that on my wall that I posted with all the other pigeon notes. So yes, I am an enigma, and yeah.
Yeah, I finally died there. It took the end of the stream for me to finally die. Yeah, so the games I'm playing is I'm playing Doom, as you see, Doom Eternal. I'm very good at it. Really like it.
Did you just die twice by falling?
Yeah. It literally took the whole stream. Okay, give me my credit. Doom Eternal. I'm playing Control. I really like Control. I don't want to finish Control. I kind of like Spider-Man. I want to experience everything, but I also want to experience it with better frame rate because that game is just beautiful, and I'm playing it on the Xbox One S, and I want to experience that game to its fullest. So I stopped playing that game, and I started playing Resident Evil 2. So those are the games I'm playing right now. I don't have to say what you can follow me on because you're probably watching this video on my YouTube. So just subscribe. All right, guys. So this is the end. Make sure you comment, rate, subscribe. Thank you guys for joining me. Worse in Insane Cakes. You guys are awesome. And we will see you.
Click that bell on the notifications.
Click that bell
to get more updates on your thing. As always, donate to my Patreon. And this is brought to you by Raycon.
Raid Shadow Legends. Oh.
Yeah. Which is also having a special crossover event with Raid Shadow Legends.
Can't wait for that.
Because Ray can Shadow Legends raid, yeah.
Follow me and all that. I feel like a YouTuber when I say that, like an ultimate YouTuber. Make sure you guys follow me and subscribe. But I do want you guys to do that. So
because they all forget. Because everybody forgets to hit the bell. Everybody.
Yeah, hit the dang bell.
Don't forget to hit the bell. Please hit the bell. We will find you if you don't hit the bell. Actually, that sounds even cringier. Just if we ring the bell, just go to your local bell. If you live in Savannah or like in Philadelphia where there's a bell nearby, ring that, and we will hear it. It'll be like, "Thanks, we get another subscriber." So just ring any bell; it'll work just fine.
We'll just
Ringing
be like,
bells will work just great.
We'll just know.
Yes,
the longest exit ever.
You can use one of your grandma's bells that she keeps in her bell collection here by the closet.
Whenever anybody to ring a bell, I ring all the bells, and now I have,
There we go.
and that now all my notifications on my phones are nothing but people going live.
Yes.
Like
I
right now.
carry a bell with me to let them know that I support people.
Yeah. So do all that. Everything they both said. Ring all the bells at your local Taco Bell. We will be streaming live on Twitch. We'll try to do this every Friday. We'll see what happens. We all have lives and all that, unfortunately. So
Well,
we'll see what happens. So I'll close it off with the sponsor video. So thank you guys for watching. You guys seen the sponsor video, right?
Oh, yeah. You have a
Sponsored.
good day, everyone. Stay safe.
Yes. So we are sponsored by. We have a sponsor. We're gonna show you guys that, and then we're gonna exit out. So here is our sponsor. Thanks, other 3-bit. You ever wonder how I make such awesome Netflix videos right here on the VGHD set? Well, there is a secret. It's because I taste the 4-bit energy drink. I can't be 3-bit without my 4.
This product does not actually exist. If it does exist, you can't have it because you're not 3-bit. Actually, I changed my mind. It does exist. If you subscribe to the Videogames HD channel on 3-bit, signing off. Have a good one.
Oh man, love that. I gotta make another one. Oh, I definitely gotta make another one. If you guys have any ideas in the comment section down below, different ads I could do, then let me know. We'll definitely talk about it off podcast too, Insane and Worse. We'll talk about different ones we could do. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching the Video Games HD podcast. Signing out. Have a good one.